Hey guys, it's Bethany, your crafty BFF, and I'm on today with yet another tutorial. Today we are going to make this shadow box. This project measures 8 1/8 wide by about 8 inches tall. Um, that means that the inside um, box is 6 by 6. It is 2.5 inches deep, and I've been having a blast making these shadow boxes. I have made a couple in this larger size, this 10 by 10 size. If you guys want a tutorial for this one, let me know. I'll be happy to do it for you. But if you saw my video the other day, I created this shadow box book with a seam binding closure and a spine and everything. It's got chipboard covers. It's a nice and sturdy project. And anyways, one of my subscribers, Miss Donna, hi Donna, if you're watching, um, I requested that I do a tutorial for just a shadow box. So I thought I would switch up the measurements and do this 8 by 8 inch one. The backing piece for this shadow box is optional, and so is the shelf. I will show you how to do both, but like I said, um, you can have this as, like, if you want to use this as home decor and you want to hang it on a wall, you can use the backing piece, or you can just not add that backing piece at all and just have it as like a see-through floating shelf, if that makes sense. And then this divider slash shelf is optional as well. You can have it just a big 6 by 6 inch shadow box frame, and you can decorate the inside, decorate the outside. You can, and if you want to use the shelf, like, you can use this as a shelf and then display your little embellishments or lightweight knickknacks. And like I said, you could hang this on a wall, or you could just set it on your TV stand or your fireplace mantle, or wherever you want to have it for decoration. So let's go ahead and get started. Don't be intimidated. It looks like it is a difficult project, but it's really not. And I'm here to walk you through step by step. So let's go. Um, if you're a regular on my channel, I want to apologize because I you're used to seeing my left to right Martha Stewart 12 by 12-inch Martha Stewart scoreboard. However, it broke. I have ordered a new one and it's on its way, but it hasn't got here yet. I did have to order it on eBay because they no longer make those. So, anyways, we're going to be using this. It's totally backwards for me and awkward scoreboard, and I will have to do some maneuvering to score anything past 6 inches, but I will let you know what the measurements are exactly. So make sure you're not paying attention to what I'm scoring. Make sure you pay attention to what is written on my note and what I say, because those are the correct score marks. And I'll show you when we get to it. But I've done our cutting and I've done the scoring, but I will go over the scoring with you, okay? And then we will do the gluing and cutting and all the things. For the left and right sides, you need 2 pieces of 8 by 8-inch 110-pound cardstock. I totally suggest 110-pound cardstock so that this is a nice and sturdy project. And like I said, you need 2 pieces of the 8 by 8. And just on one side of your 8 by 8-inch cardstock, you're going to score at 1 inch, at 3.5 inches, at 4.5 inches, and at 7 inches. Now, because this is a short scoreboard, you score at 7 inches. I have to maneuver this over to 6 inches, and score here to get my to score an actual the actual 7-inch score mark. But like I said, don't score 6, score at 7 inches. Okay, I hope that's not too confusing. So sorry for the inconvenience of this stupid short scoreboard. I don't know how people work like this all the time. Anyways, on your second piece of 8x8 110-pound cardstock, you're going to do the exact same scores. You're going to score at 1 inch, 3.5 inches, 4.5 inches, and 7 inches. This is my 7-inch mark, so there we go. And let's go ahead and put these together. Now, because this is a 3D project and we're turning these into 3D rectangles, what you're going to do is take just a hair off of this 1-inch score here, okay? I'm going to use my trimmer because I think it's quicker. I'm not even taking 1/8 of an inch off. It's just like 1/16 of an inch, just a hair. And that's just so that our fold won't interfere with our score mark over here, if that makes sense. So do the same to both of those pieces that we just scored. Just take a hair off of that 1-inch score mark, like 1/16 of an inch. You can use your scissors and trim it. It doesn't have to be perfect. But let's go ahead and fold and crease our score marks. I gotta find my bone folder. There it is. I have all these projects over here piled up. I'm afraid they're gonna fall, especially during the tutorial. That'd be my luck, to have a craft-a-lanch during the tutorial. Okay, so we fold and crease that one. Let's fold and crease this one. On all 4 of those score marks. And then the side that we trimmed just a little bit, you're going to fold that over. You're going to add your glue. And then fold this over like this so that this 1-inch score mark lays on top of the 1-inch score that we just put the glue on. Okay, and then press that down so it gets nice and stuck. And then you can pop it up and you can see it makes a 3D rectangle. It comes out to be 8 inches by 2.5 inches, and it is 1 inch deep. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing to this one. That side that you took that little hair off of the 1-inch score, add your glue, fold that over and add your glue. And then fold this guy over to land right on top of your glue. Press that down, get it nice and stuck. And then you can pop it up to have your 3D rectangle. And these are 2 side pieces. See, not so hard so far, right? Not bad. And set these to the side. And you need 2 more pieces of 110-pound cardstock that measure 8 inches by 8 inches. We're going to do some more scoring. So get your scoreboard. On one of your 8-inch sides, you're going to score the same score marks we did on those first 2 pieces. Okay, so it's going to be 1 inch, 3.5 inches. In fact, I'll put this right here for now. 1 inch, 3.5 inches, 4.5 inches, and 7 inches. This is my 7-inch mark. There we go. And then you're going to rotate your paper to the left, 90 degrees, and put it back down on your scoreboard. And we're going to score at 1, but we're only going to score down to this second horizontal score line. You see you have this first horizontal score line, and then you have this second horizontal score line. Score at 1 inch just down to this second line. Just like so. And then you're going to score at the 7-inch mark, only down to that second score mark again, okay? So I have to maneuver mine over here and score here at this is my 7-inch mark. Make sure you're scoring at 7, not 6. Don't pay attention to my scoreboard. Because like I said, I have to maneuver it over to be able to score at the correct mark because of it being a short scoreboard. Okay, so there are our 2 top. Did we do both pieces? No, we only scored the one. So on your second piece of 8x8, do those same exact scores. On one side, do the 1 inch all the way down. Do your 3.5 inches all the way down. 4.5 inches all the way down. And 7 inches all the way down. Then you're going to rotate your paper to, that's the right, I'm sorry. Rotate it this way, 90 degrees. And then line it up. And you're going to score again at that 1 inch mark, but only down to the second horizontal score mark. You're going to do that at the 1 inch mark, just down to the second mark. And then you're going to do it at the 7-inch mark, only down to the second score line. I hope that's not too confusing. So 7 inches down to that second score mark. And your paper should look like this. Okay. Let me move this bad boy out of the way. And the first scores that we made, the ones that go all the way across the cardstock, we're going to fold and crease those. All 4 of them. Don't fold and crease these little half score marks because we're going to do some cutting there. But definitely fold and crease these. Excuse me. There we go. And now let's do our cutting. You're going to take your paper like this with those short score marks that we made in your hands facing towards you. Get my scissors here. And we're going to cut this score line out completely, but only up to this second score mark. So on you have your left side score and your right side score. On your right side score, you're going to keep your scissors to the left of that score line, just right to the left of it, so that you can completely cut it off of your project. You see there's the score line. We're cutting it completely off, but only up to that second score line. When you get to the second score line, you're going to slant your scissors, and you're going to do a diagonal cut from right here up to the corner of this third horizontal score mark. So just like this. That. And then on this side, we're going to completely remove this score mark. So on the left side of your paper, keep your scissors directly to the right of it, of the score mark, to cut it completely out, but only cut up to that second score line. And then slant your scissors at a diagonal and cut right up to that third score line. So your paper should look like this. Right? Okay. We're going to do this exact same cuts to the second piece that we scored this way. So again, on the right side of this piece of 8x8, we're going to keep to the left of the score mark so we can cut it out completely. And then we're going to slant the scissors and cut at a diagonal up to that third score line, like that. Again, on the left side, this time staying directly to the right of your score line to cut it out completely, and then slant up to that third score line. So then both your pieces should look like this. I'm going to get my trimmer again, because we're going to take just a hair off of one of these 1-inch score marks. I like to do this shorter one here, the one that we just cut. So I'm going to take, like I said, not even 1/8 of an inch, just like 1/16 of an inch off of this 1-inch score mark here. Just a hair. And I'm going to do it to the second piece as well. And that's just so our edges don't bump up against the score mark, this other score mark, when we put them together. If that makes sense. Okay. Now, I like to lay my paper down like this, fold over this shorter 1-inch score that we just trimmed, and add my glue. And then fold this over so that this 1-inch score, this one right here, lands right on top of my glue. And I can press that down, flip that over, and then we can pop it up, and you'll see you have this kind of shape here. You have this longer side in the back, and then you have this slanted side in the front. And that's what we're making. That this is going to be our top and our bottom piece for our frame. Sorry, I had to take a drink. So I'm going to flip this back over. I'm going to fold this shorter score over, add my glue, just like we did with the first one, and then bend this over so that this 1-inch score lands on top of my glue. Now press that down, flip it over, press it down again to make sure it's nice and stuck, and then we can pop it up to make this 3D shape. Okay, now we can put our shadow box together, and you can see it is starting to come to life, and it's not that difficult, right? Okay, so like I said, these slanted pieces are your top and bottom. The first two pieces that we made are our sides, and they're going to go together like this to form our frame. We're going to start with the top and the right side. You see this little square right here? That's where I'm going to add my glue for the back, and then I'm going to flip this over, and to the slanted part there's like a little triangle here, so I'm going to add my glue right here to this little triangle area so that it's glued on the top and bottom, so it will be stuck here and here. So I'm just going to slide this in place. I want to make sure that my edges are lined up, my corner is lined up as straight as I can get it. There will be a small gap here in the corner, but that's okay. Nobody's going to see that part. Just make sure it's a nice 90-degree angle. Flip it over and kind of just press that down, make sure the glue is getting stuck, and there we go. There's the first half of our frame. Now I'm going to add the left piece here to the left side of the frame. Again, I'm going to add my glue to this little square in the back, and then flip it around and add my glue here to this little triangle area that slant makes in the front. I'm going to lay that down, and I'm just going to slide this in like so, lining it up the best I can. There's the front and there's the back. Like I said, there will be a little gap there, but that's okay. Once we have our pretty paper on it, nobody's going to look at that part anyways. Okay, so there we go. And then when you go to put your bottom piece on, again, the slanted part is the front, and this square part is the back. And you kind of have to put this on at the same time. So go ahead and add your glue to both of your squares in the back and your little triangles in the front. And then we're going to just slide in one side at a time, but kind of move quickly before that glue dries so you can get it positioned correctly. Okay, there we have it. There will be gaps there at the bottom as well, but like I said, nobody's going to pay attention to that. I have a little thing hanging over here, so I'm just going to trim that off. And there is our frame. Now you can be, like I said at the beginning, you can be done now and just have a see-through shadow box, or you can add the optional backing. For the backing, you just need a piece of 110 pound cut at 10 or 8 by 8, and you just position that on there like so. No scoring or anything, just a flat 8 by 8 inch 110 pound cardstock for the back. I'm going to add my glue all the way around the back of my frame. And position this on here. I like to flip it around to the back. I can see that it's nice and straight on there, and then press down all the way around the edges. And there you have it. There is your shadow box. Now, we will mat this, so stay tuned for the matting process. Even if you're not going to make your little divider / shelf, I just wanted to show you how to do the shelf / divider. I don't know what to call it, divider or shelf or whatever. You need a piece of 9 inches by 6.5 inches, and again, it should be 110 pound cardstock, so it's nice and sturdy, especially if you're going to set little knickknacks on the shelf. You know, you want it to be nice and sturdy. So like I said, 9 inches long by 6.5 inches tall. We're going to get our scoreboard back out, and on your 9-inch side, you're going to score at a 1/2 inch on both sides. If you have a long scoreboard, you would just score at a 1/2 inch and at 8.5 inches. but because I have this short scoreboard, I'm just going to do 1/2 inch on both sides. And then on the 6.5 inch side, we're going to score at 1/2 inch, 3 inches, 3.5 inches, and at 6 inches. Okay, and we're done with the scoreboard. You can put that away, and let's fold and crease these score lines. We're gonna make it comes out to be like a little chocolate bar almost. It's just a little 3D chocolate bar kind of box. So you fold and crease your scores. You're gonna hold it like this on the 6.5 inch side, and we're gonna do some cutting. We're gonna make this little square here. We're gonna make it a tab. So I'm gonna cut a diagonal here on this side, and then I'm gonna do a snippy snip here to cut out that score line. Make a little triangle right there. This square, we're going to do the snippy snips to make another tab. So there's that snippy snip, and then this, that's what I call these cuts, is the snippy snips. Just making little triangles there. And then this square, we don't need this bad boy at all, so we're going to add a diagonal cut up to that corner. And then on this side, come in at a diagonal and cut it off so that you've made a tab here, and we're making a tab on this long side here. Okay, now we're going to flip it around, and we're going to do the exact same cuts on this side. So this one we don't need. We're going to do a diagonal up to the corner, and then a diagonal meeting that first cut to get rid of that square completely. And like I said, this makes a long tab here. Then we're going to do the snippy snips here in the middle for this little square. Make it a little tab. And then this one, we're also going to make a tab. So snippy snip. And then a little diagonal cut there to make it a tab. Okay. Now we are going to flip this long tab that we made here on the left. We're going to flip that over. We're going to add our wet adhesive, or you can use double-sided tape, whatever you prefer. And then I'm just going to fold this over so that this 1/2 inch score lands on top of our glue. I'm going to press that down. Make sure it's nice and stuck. And then you should have this, what looks like this. Here on this side, you're going to fold in your little tabs on the side. Fold this guy up. I'm going to actually use my hot glue for this because it's much quicker. So I'm just adding my hot glue to this tab here, and then I'm folding this one over top of that hot glue to close it up. Then we're going to flip it to the other side, fold those tabs in, fold this one up, add my hot glue, and then fold this one down to close it up. Okay, and no, I did not. I messed it up. I messed it up, guys. And I'm not starting over because I've already done this for I've been recording for 1/2 an hour. I can't believe I did that. Oh my OMG. Okay, let's do our shelf over. Just in case you want to add it. Let me think. Okay, I know what I did. Okay, so the inside here is 6 inches, which means our paper should be 7 inches by 6.5 inches. I'm so sorry, guys. I made it to fit. Let's see, how long is this one? I made it to fit the 10 by 10 that I made yesterday. So I got confused. Okay, so I made it to fit inside the 10 by 10 shadow frame. So sorry. Okay, get your scoreboard back out. On the 7-inch side, we're going to score at 1/2 inch on both sides. If you have the long scoreboard, you're going to score at 1/2 inch and 6.5 inches. But I have the short one, so we're just going to do 1/2 inch on both sides. And then on the 6.5 inch side, we're going to do 1/2 inch, 3 inches, 3.5 inches, and 6 inches. I'm such a dork. Okay. Fold and crease these. We're going to do the same cuts. If you guys ever want to do a tutorial for any tutorial video that you want to make into a project, I suggest always watching that tutorial video all the way through at least one time, so that you know if there are any mistakes. So before you even go to make the project, watch the tutorial all the way through, even if you put it on 1.5 or 2 times the speed. Watch that tutorial all the way through so you know if there's any mistakes, and you can watch out for it when you actually go to make the project and you don't waste any paper. I'm so sorry. Okay, so we did the snippy snips again, just like we did on the first piece. That was too long. We made this little guy a tab. We did the snippy snips here to make this a tab, and then we cut out this corner completely. We're going to flip it around and do the same cut on the opposite side. So because we cut this corner out, we're going to cut this corner out. Diagonal, diagonal, and that makes a long tab here. We're going to do the snippy snips here in the middle, on the middle square, to make it a tab. And then on this side, we're going to make this square a tab. So snippy snip. We are human after all. We all make mistakes. But I don't like wasting paper either. So sorry about that. Okay, we're going to fold this long tab that we created over and add our glue. And then flip this over to land on top of the glue so that those sides line up. Press it down, get it nice and stuck. Once it's stuck, you can pop it up into a 3D shape. You're going to tuck in your side tabs, fold this over, add some glue there, and then fold over the other tab on top. We're going to fold in those little tabs, fold that up, add our glue, and fold it over. And now this piece will fit in nice and snug. It should be a nice and snug fit. You want it to be. You can put it horizontally or you can put it vertically, whatever you prefer, whatever you need it to do. I don't know if I'm going to put mine in at all, honestly. I'm thinking about decorating this for a design team project. In fact, let's do that. Let's go ahead and do the mats. And I'm going to show, we'll start with the hardest part, which is matting this frame. Now, you could, in theory, cut yourself some papers, just some 7/8 of an inch strips that are 8 inches long, and just do one here, one here, one here, and one here. But I don't like the way that looks, so I did figure out how to make a frame. I'm going to use this pattern paper here. This is from Candy Cane Lane from Frank Garcia. I only have 2 pieces of 12 by 12 left from this collection, so I'm mixing it with my other Christmas collections. And I am going, first of all, measure your frame from the furthest left side to the furthest right side. Mine comes to be exactly 8 1/8 of an inch wide. Then from top to bottom, it's exactly 8 inches wide, 8 inches tall. So that's been pretty consistent with these shadow boxes I've made, where it is 8 and like it's 1/8 of an inch longer from side to side than it is from top to bottom. I don't know why that is, but measure yours and make sure that make sure if it's, see if it's 8 by 8 or 8 1/8 by 8. Mine is 8 1/8 by 8. So I am going to cut this 12 by 12 down to 8 1/8 by 8. Okay, now I'm going to take my scoreboard, and believe you me, I've tried many different ways to get this frame piece to work, and this is by far the easiest that I have found. Okay, so you measure the width of your frame, you cut your designer paper, and then you get your scoreboard. We are going to score at 1 inch, but eyeball, or you can like use your ruler and eyeball or whatever where 1 inch starts. Okay, you don't want to score from all the way from the top down to 1 inch, because you don't want that line there, but you do want it 1 inch down from the top, if that makes sense. So definitely get a ruler. This makes it so much easier, Bethany. I don't know what you're thinking, but yeah, instead of eyeballing it, just take your ruler and start at the 1 inch and score down to the 7 inch. Okay, flip your paper 90 degrees, and we're going to again line our ruler up here at the 1 inch score mark. Start at the 1 inch on our ruler and score all the way down to 7. Flip it around again, line it up to your 1 inch score mark. Take your ruler here and start scoring at the 1 inch mark on your ruler. Take that all the way down to 7 inches. So we're doing that same thing on all 4 sides. And here on this last side, lining it up at the 1 inch mark on my scoreboard, adding my ruler here, and starting to score here at the 1 inch mark on my ruler all the way down to the 7 inch mark. And now I have the exact frame that I need to cut out. Now, from this point, you can use an X-Acto knife. I'm going to use my slide trimmer because I find that much easier than you. I am not good with an X-Acto knife. So, what I do with my sliding scoreboard is line this up the best I can. You might see the top of my head because I'm going to get in here and make sure that I line my trimmer up with that score mark that I have on here. What I like to do is fold it over, and then I kind of just press this down to make a little puncture mark in my paper, and make sure that I'm right there on the score line. You can't see, but that puncture mark there is right on my score mark, so I feel comfortable cutting right there. There we go. And I'm just going to very carefully cut this down to where the next score line starts, like so. Now I'm going to turn it and do the same thing. I'm going to line it up the best I can. I'm going to test it out and do just a little puncture mark with my trimmer to make sure I'm right on that score line, and it looks like I am. So I'm pressing down and cutting on that score line down to where the next score line starts. And there we have it. Line that up. Puncture mark. Ooh, I burned myself with my hot glue gun. Move that out of the way. I'm not quite on that score line. Now I am. I like to take my time with this part, so please forgive me. I'm right there on the score mark. Oh no, I cut too far up. That's okay. It's okay. We'll just make it work. I say that right after I say I like to take my time. So then we can remove this middle piece completely. And you should have a frame that will fit around perfectly. Or maybe not perfect. Nothing's perfect in paper crafting, but we have that in there anyways, right? Okay, so there's that. That's the most complicated part of matting this thing. So let me go over the mats with you. I'm going to double check my measuring. For the 4 sides, for the 4 outside sides, you need 4 pieces of 7 7/8 by 2 3/8. So that's times 4, right? So you can do this side, this side, this side, and this side. We got our frame. I'm not going to worry about doing the back. The 4 inside pieces are going to be They should be 6 by 2 3/8. 6 by 2 3/8. I'm going to double check and make sure the sides are the same. Actually, the sides are going to be 5 7/8 by 2 3/8. And then our inside back piece, I'm going to say that you should start with 6 1/8 by 6 1/8. Start with that and then cut it down if you need it to go smaller. Does that make sense? For your shelf, you need, so you're going to glue 3 of these 1/2 inch sides. You're going to glue it to the back and to these side frame pieces. So that means you only need to mat the top, the bottom, and this one side that's showing in the front, right? So these are going to be 5 7/8 by 2 3/8. And then this guy is going to be 5 7/8 by 3/8 of an inch, which is the mark just before a 1/2 inch. Okay, so there are all your matting measurements. I hope that helps. I'm not gonna mat this on camera because I am going to sew on all my matting pieces, and I don't want to take that time away in this video. And besides, we're already at 47 minutes, so long project. If you guys have any questions whatsoever, please feel free to leave them in the comments down below, or even contact me on Instagram. And if you have any problems, I'd be happy to help you work through those problems. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this project. I thought it was a lot of fun. Thanks so much for watching, and thank you again, Donna, for requesting the project. If you have any requests, just hit me up. I love to try to figure out measurements and put together 3D projects especially. So just let me know. Thanks, guys, so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye.